Pack leader, top dog, dominant male, head honcho, alpha male. It's a common misconception that wolves fight for dominance within their packs to see who becomes and stays the alpha wolf. But that doesn't mean packs don't have a leader. It's just a lot simpler and less violent than you might think. Plus, it helps to get a secret boost from a microscopic friend to get the gumption you need to become top dog here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal info. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos, but it is also our 30 minutes of interesting animal info. It belongs to all of us. It's a collective effort, right?
We are Groot. Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web or find us on YouTube. We have some artwork there as well. And a very special thank you to our patrons, to Jesse Raspolich, Carol Raspolich, and Richard Kaspar. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on.
And today we're talking about the most popular villain of nursery rhymes, but more on that later.
Man.
The most dangerous. That's the most dangerous game.
The plague. Wait. London Bridge.
London Bridge is the real
London
villain.
Bridge is the villain. Gravity is just the victim. Gravity is the villain in London Bridge and Rockabye Baby. So we have a big baddie on our hands.
That's true. But we're talking about a wolf, more specifically, one made of wood, a timber wolf.
Well, in general, it's actually the binomial nomenclature just refers to all wolves fall under this. Every other wolf is a subspecies.
Yes,
but
we're talking about This is a taxonomic nightmare, I'll tell you that. There's a debate.
Yes. But we can just, if you want, we can end at the species. We don't have to go to subspecies, because that gets out of hand real fast.
Well, we might as well mention it. We're talking specifically, I guess, the eastern timber wolf. There's a western one. Which might be the same thing, but you take it away.
Well, it's the wolf. You know it, you love it or hate it. I don't know. It eats grandmas. But we're gonna call it here. You can call me Alpha. You can call me Alpha. This one I'm quite proud of. Oedipal arrangements.
Interesting.
And that's all I got. That was the extent of my creative power.
You expended yourself.
Yeah. I had to take a nap
you have to
after
recharge.
That. Which I'll explain later.
Would you like to know what it is called in science? It's in the kingdom Animalia. You know it. You love it. You are in it. It's in the phylum Chordata. It's in the class Mammalia. All of those you're in. But then it's in the order Carnivora. And no matter how much meat you eat, you're not going to be in that order. It's in the family Canidae. It's in the genus Canis. And it's the species Canis. Well, it's Canis lupus, right?
Yeah, that's wolf. All wolves.
The binomial name on Wikipedia is Canis lycaon, which is... No, that's the subspecies, right? Canis lupus lycaon.
Yeah, the species is lupus. The there's a lot of little subspecies there.
So, just to give you like a little bit of taste of the taxonomic firestorm that this wolf is, the eastern wolf. Some people say it's Canis lycaon, that's its species. Some people say no, it's a subspecies, Canis lupus lycaon. But some people say no, it's Canis rufus lycaon. It's a subspecies of a different thing. It's a red wolf subspecies. And
there are 38 subspecies of Canis lupus.
Yeah. But it's just so similar across the board that it's hard to say, no, this is its own thing. Subspecies, when we say, what does science call it? This is a soft science. Taxonomy, in many ways, is a soft science.
Well, if you remember, Canis lupus, this is not the first time Canis lupus has been the nomenclature for an animal we've covered. Because that's the nomenclature for a dog.
That's right, yeah.
So it is despite species being pretty much the most specific we get, it encompasses dogs and dingoes and wolves. So not all Canis species. It doesn't include like coyotes and jackals and stuff like that, but it is not as specific as you might want as a taxonomist, or taxonomer. We are discussing the North American gray wolf.
But specifically one that lives in the east.
Yes, the one that lives on the eastern side. So Canis lupus. That brings us to my favorite part of the show. Nitty-gritty nomenclature. We're doing it again. I don't think you have to be pressed too hard to find out what a group of wolves is called. So, we are going to...
A good boy?
A what?
A good boy?
There is a good boy of wolves that's about to eat me.
A pack of seagulls.
Yes, a pack of wolves. There's every pack of wolves is guaranteed to have at least one rare wolf in it, and 2 mana. So what does Canis lupus mean in English, Joe? Is it A, wise wolf, B, biting wolf, C, soft wolf, or D, warrior wolf?
Canis.
Yeah, so I wasn't really going to be able to pull the wool over your eyes with lupus. But maybe you don't know what Canis means.
I don't think I do. You said fighting, biting.
Wise,
you said fighting?
biting, soft,
wise,
and warrior.
Soft. It's a real odd man out. I'm going to go with... My heart is telling me to go with soft. Final answer.
That is incorrect. The answer is wise.
Ooh.
Wise or aged.
That was my second.
That's what Canis means. But a wise biting soft warrior sounds like a bear.
True.
It's that's on the Bears driver's license.
I guess they do look wise if you look at pictures of them. But they also look soft.
Maybe it's the gray that gives them like the idea of it is aged wisdom is the idea behind Canis. So it's like, oh, look at those old animals. They must have a lot of wisdom because of how gray they are.
Wolves are striking creatures. It makes sense why there's an entire graphic T-shirt
around wanting to be them and in other things.
Well, I was going to say a whole graphic T-shirt genre.
I was thinking of furries.
Yeah, I try not to think of furries. But when you hear the term timber wolf, generally you're talking North American wolves. But there's Western ones and Eastern ones. And Western ones tend to be bigger. So that's what we're talking about. And we're talking timber. But here's what they look like. The fur color of the Eastern wolf is usually a mix of grayish brown and cinnamon. And the Eastern variety are generally more uniform. But the Western has more variation. There's more reddish hues and more like just straight gray, white. But in the East, everyone's just kind of grayish brown with a hint of cinnamon. The chest and flanks display rufous or cream colors, while the neck and shoulder and tail area are black and gray. It's uncommon for Eastern wolves to have individuals with black fur. So the melanistic wolves are less common in Eastern timber wolves when compared to Western and gray wolves. So let's talk about their size. It's quite notable. Because the first thing you notice when you meet a wolf in real life is that this is a big canine.
Yeah. I've never met a wolf in real life.
Welcome to the Blood Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show, the part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms. Through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send an audio of yourself singing or howling the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro. But that means we get to hear from a big bad wolf.
I'm sure you have lots to choose from.
Yeah.
I can't just pull this one out like the spider one.
Would you like to guess while I pull it up?
Well, if you had recently seen the new Puss in Boots, I would assume it'd be Death.
Hey, guess what?
It's
You're 100% correct.
Am I really?
Yes, you are.
Oh my goodness. All right, yeah. Is it just going to be his whistle?
Well, let's see. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
There you go.
Well. If it isn't Puss in Boots himself. In the flesh.
That's the big bad wolf.
Yeah. He's a pretty good bad guy for an animated movie.
That movie was pretty good.
It was very funny. I didn't realize you had seen it. I remember just telling you that John Mulaney's character was just an absolute delight. So
he was an absolute. He was a evil villain, not an misunderstood villain. And they even kind of like make fun of the whole misunderstood villain thing, when he's like, "Oh, I didn't have much growing up, just a thriving business."
Just a wonderful parents, a supportive childhood, millions of dollars. No, I'd say he's the embodiment of privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Privileged evil, I guess. But he has some lines that caught me off guard.
Let's talk length. A female Western timber wolf can get as long as 4.5 to 6 feet. And the average male is 5 to 6 feet. The cap is set 6 feet long. But the small end is longer. But Eastern males can grow to 5.5 feet. So we're going to go with the Eastern, 5.5. How many timber wolves go? Well, first of all, we're talking wolves, and we're talking World War II. Can you guess what I'm about to talk about? what this question is going to be about.
Wolves and World War II.
Not necessarily actual wolves, but the terminology.
Are you going to talk about the U-boats?
Sure am. Correct again. Let's see if you're correct. Your spot onness will carry over to measure up. So how many timber wolves go into the length of a type? What is V? Is that 4? V11? VII?
V11 would be 7.
7. Duh. It's I's V. That's 4. Right?
Yes.
We're talking type 7 U-boat. It wasn't until just now that I realized that was a Roman numeral.
I thought it was the type V.
I thought it was VII. Wait a minute. Actually, I was going to say V2. I thought it was going to be V2 because I was thinking World War II.
Yeah,
like,
and also like the V2 rocket and all that stuff.
Here's a hint. The Type 7 was the most common German U-boat in World War II. They formed wolf packs in the Battle of the Atlantic, which were made up of coordinated attacking submarines. The concept of a submarine wolf pack was first proposed in World War I, but lone wolf submarine attacks were more successful. I'm not sure why. I assume it's harder to communicate via radio signal underwater, but maybe that's not true at all. They just tried it a few times and it didn't work.
Well, in World War I, they didn't have radio, so...
They didn't? I thought I read that they had some...
Oh, no, I'm thinking radar. Sorry.
Yeah.
Radio, radar. But radar is the huge factor when it comes to submarines. But,
so it's hard to know where everyone is.
They didn't have the Enigma machine in World War I. And that was how they the submarines communicated, was using the code from the Enigma.
Well, that's just encryption.
Yeah, but
so they can
it
still
meant
talk
that they could communicate without
the enemy knowing exactly what they're about to do.
Right. If they didn't keep saying Heil Hitler after every message, we would have never figured it out. Honestly. They said every single one of their messages ends with this phrase. And we're going to go ahead and guess it's Heil Hitler. So now we know all these letters.
And we're talking the length overall. Apparently sometimes they measure the pressurized length. But we're talking about the whole thing.
Pressure. Oh, they like the interior?
Yeah, I guess.
200 feet. So my answer is 36.
Final answer?
Yes.
The correct answer is 40.
That is a nursing school victory.
The Type 7 is 67 meters or 220 feet.
Yeah.
In length overall.
I just didn't, I knew exactly how much it was. I just didn't account for the propeller on the back.
Right, that's it.
Yeah, that added an extra 20 feet that I was just not accounting for. I thought the question was more to the standard, North Atlantic measurements.
Yeah, when they're at really low depths, it gets compressed to a nice 200 even.
They went really they were really advanced in their material sciences back then.
Let's talk weight. The average weight of a female western timber wolf is 50 to 85 pounds, while larger males weigh between 70 to 110 pounds. Eastern timber wolves range from 50 to 80 pounds. 110-pound canine. That's quite a chunk of fur.
Yeah, of angry fur.
Mm-hmm. So many piglets of weaning age would a wolf have to eat its weight in piglets?
This is a pleasant thought.
I know. Here's a hint. Pigs grow quickly. They wean around 4 to 6 weeks old. I wrote
I'm imagining
Pyagat. Piglets are small and adorable, but they can grow 8 times their size in the first 6 months. There's no such thing as a teacup or micro pig, so many pig-loving pet owners are surprised when their mini pig grows into a full-size boar.
I have the opening scene in Babe in my head, where it goes through the pig farm.
Yeah, so if a wolf got in there and he wanted to eat its weight in piglets.
I'm going to say they're 2 pounds.
We're talking a month-old piglet.
Oh, a month?
Weaning age. Getting on solid food. I think you would have been right. That's a newborn, 2 pounds.
We'll say 10 pounds. What was the wolf?
80.
All right. 8. Didn't even have to put that into my calculator. I'm that smart.
Final answer?
Final answer, 8.
The correct answer is 5.3.
That does not sound like a nursing school victory.
A month-old piglet is
Nope.
about 15 pounds. A monthling.
Guess that's why they call them pigs, huh?
Yeah. I'm sure it depends on breed. You might have been right if we were talking about a specific breed, but that's another thing. Where like our domestic pigs and boars in the wild are the same species, and people don't think that.
Are they?
Yeah. If you let a domestic pig and its pink, shiny people skin into the wild, it will grow fur.
So that it doesn't get sunburned anymore.
Actually, I'm pretty sure even domestic pigs have fur normally.
Are they shaved to be all pink and shiny?
I don't know. Well, like if you look close at a pig, they have like this white fur. White,
yeah, they have
and the
hair on
pinkish.
them, but they're not like boar. They don't have boar bristles.
That's true.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I forget why. Man, piglets are adorable.
They are. That's why Babe is a good movie.
Just gotta scratch that little belly.
All good with the measure up? Am I free to go?
You're free
Officer?
to go. Do you want to hear some fast facts before?
Am I under arrest?
Do you want to hear some fast facts about the timber wolf before
Sure.
I just get it lost in the eyes of the most adorable piglets?
Sure.
Timber wolves are native to North America. Eastern wolves are found in the Great Lakes region, stretching northeast all the way to Newfoundland. They are famous pack hunters capable of taking down much larger prey species, including caribou, moose, and bison. They hunt by chasing down prey until it's tired and then jumping in and wounding critical areas until the exhausted animal lets its guard down and expires. If that sounds familiar to you and you're an anthropologist, you might think it's thought that human hunters use very similar hunting styles, which contributed to our developing relationship with canines of the past. They will also supplement their carnivorous diets with berries. Another carnivore that eats berries.
They're abundant in North America.
It stinks to be a berry. Everyone eats that.
Yeah. Unless you're a poisonous berry. Or
That's
unless
true.
you look like a poisonous berry.
That's true. I guess it doesn't stink to be a berry because if you're a berry, don't you want to get eaten? And
That's the whole point of being fruit in the first place.
Different packs can be hostile to one another, so they are careful to avoid rival territory. Lone wolves may enter other territories with the hopes of joining the pack. Wolves have long been feared by humans, making their way into folklore as the ultimate bad guy. This is worsened by the fact that desperate wolves often eat livestock. So if food levels are down, your sheep are getting eaten. Or pigs, or other nursery rhyme victims. North American populations were diminished. North American wolf populations were diminished by human hunting and retaliation. While the clashes between humans and wolf populations can happen, where they overlap, wolves are generally afraid of humans. So much so that a bold or aggressive wolf today is notable and out of the ordinary. But wolves are keystone species, which means that they have a disproportionate effect on the ecology of a given area. Keystone animals are often predators, but they don't have to be. But in this case, it's because they hunt a variety of prey. Wolves are important in controlling deer and other prey populations. So removing wolves from an area can increase deer populations, which has an impact on seasonal food resources, which can affect every level of the food chain. So wolves are very, very important. Wolves are so important that human hunters have to be responsible for controlling deer populations where wolves have been removed. Today, the eastern wolf is considered threatened, but we have a better idea of their importance and their actual threat to humanity. So as long as you get a good fence around your farm animals, we're generally good.
From the big bad wolf.
Yeah. I mean, wolves are scary. Imagine like a pack of wolves hunting you.
Yeah, they're very fast. There's lots of them. They howl as they chase you. It's always nighttime.
Read the beginning of White Fang, and it's like one of the most terrifying depictions of being hunted by wolves.
Yeah, in movies and video games, wolves are the most tenacious hunters. Unlike, for some reason, unlike almost every other predator, they will do whatever it takes, no matter how much damage they take or how many of them fall, to kill their prey. Where most other predators try to get as much prey with as little energy or risk as possible. The movie wolves are like, this is a point of pride for us.
Or like video game, like we fight to the last wolf.
Yeah. If there's one wolf left, it will still pose a problem. Wolves hunt in packs arisen. I also remember, as a little wolf anecdote, that the one time that I knew an answer in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it was the $1 million question. And it was, what is the instrument of the wolf in Peter and the Wolf? And I actually knew it. I considered myself a millionaire from that point forward.
What is it? Is it the violin?
It's the French horn.
Oh.
Because I was probably like 8 or 9 or something like that, because that's back when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was airing. But in my school, in my music class, we were going over Peter and the Wolf, so I happened to know that. And now I don't remember what the instruments were for any of the other characters, but because of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire debacle, I will forever remember that the wolf was French horn. Anyway, you ready for a major fact?
Sure.
We're calling this one Another Day with Parasites by Phil Collins. So we often think of wolves as having an alpha male, right? Like alpha wolf, that's That's just synonymous. It comes with the territory when you're talking about wolves. You think of maybe 10 to 20 wolves in a pack that all answer to the strongest male that can be challenged at any point to take over the pack, so that only the strongest and most and wisest wolf is the leader. And you're just waiting for that challenger to come and take the throne. Kind of similar to like Jungle Book, Aquila, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the beast.
Well, that's not exactly the case. Even though those were wolves in India. We're talking about North American wolves, but that's not exactly the case. In the wild, packs of wolves are actually families. That's it. There's a breeding pair, a mommy and a daddy. And they're the leaders because they're the oldest. They're the breeding pair. Everyone else is their children. So alpha male is just the father or breeding male. And the breeding female and the little ones all follow his lead. And if he's not there, then the little ones all follow the breeding female's lead. So there's two things of this. On one side, you have this whole idea of alpha males in humans, and the hyper masculinity that goes with that concept, and then you have this backlash, which is all of these people that want to rub these frat boys' faces in the fact that there is no alpha male in wolf packs. So your toxic masculinity is you can put that in your pocket and set it on fire. Neither side is really right. There's not an alpha male over this large group of unrelated wolves, but there is an alpha male just as much as the father of a household is the leader, because he's the protector and the breadwinner or something like that. So the idea that like a subordinate male would challenge the dominant male is like a teenager taking a swing at his dad. It's like it happens a lot less in wolves than it does in people. And it's not like if the son wins, then he becomes the alpha, because his mom is still the dominant female. Hence, edible arrangements. But inbreeding almost never happens in wolves in normal habitats. So this is not a fighting for the position of pack leader is not something that wolves do. What actually happens is adolescent males will eventually just leave their pack and find a female to start a new one and, ostensibly become the alpha of that pack because, they're the breeding male. If the teenager is slow to leave the nest, though, the parents will force them to eat last. So the parents eat first, the pups eat next, and then these lazy teenagers, are the last ones to eat, and that can sometimes cause them to fight. But it's not like it's fighting for dominance. Mm-hmm. But that being said, we think of wolves as having alpha males because there were studies done in the 70s before science was invented, and those were done on captive wolves. So you get a bunch of unrelated male wolves into one place, then they will fight, and one of them will become the leader. So in that situation, yes, there's an alpha male, but it's kind of more like a bunch of prisoners being thrown together, and one of them fighting his way to the top, basically, of the pecking order. So that checks out, and there are quote-unquote alpha males in that, but that's not how the wild works. A bunch of unrelated males don't get together as a pack. Packs are made up of families. So the de facto position of leader goes to the patriarch without challenge. And the same can be said of household dogs. So if you put a bunch of unneutered males in a group, then they will have to fight for one of them to become the pack leader. so all you really need to do to become an alpha in the wild is to leave and cleave. Go start a family. But not all adolescents fly the coop as early as others. Some are a failure to launch. A recent study done by the University of Montana using over 200 wolves over the course of 27 years showed that there is a factor that could make some adolescents more likely to leave than others. Parasites. Specifically, Toxoplasma gondii, which is toxoplasmosis, the condition you can get from being exposed to kitty litter, and is especially dangerous for pregnant women. It has a real impact on the animal food chain as well. These are microscopic protozoans that are an infectious parasite, and they can infect all warm-blooded animals, but they can only reproduce inside cats or felines. So their whole goal, their whole shtick in life, is to make their way into the gut of a cat. So to do that, since they're tiny and they can't just jump into a cat's mouth, they need to get eaten by things that will get eaten by cats or are likely to get eaten by cats. And so, they might infect a mouse or a vole or stoat or something, some small mammal, and cross their little protozoan fingers. That I hope a cat comes by, or a bobcat or what have you, or cougar comes and eats this thing. But they don't just cross their fingers; they cross some chemistry as well. They change the hormones and internal chemistry of the host slightly to make them bolder, more aggressive, and more reckless. So what this does is makes mice and smaller mammals that usually hide and run away at the first sign of danger, it makes them less likely to do that, which makes them more likely to be eaten. So it really increases their chances of just being gobbled up. And once the cat gets it, once it makes its way to a cat's gut, anything that then eats the cat or the cat's droppings will be infected as well, including the cat's ancient arch nemesis, the Doge. So wolves that eat house cats, bobcats, or even cougars, or their droppings, can get infected. But the infection changes the wolf, making it bolder and less timid. The same traits that would cause a prey animal to be eaten, more likely to be eaten, are the traits that make predators more successful. So the University of Montana study found that the wolves that in their study that were infected were 11 times more likely to leave their birth packs earlier and start new packs, thereby becoming alpha males. So yes, wolves have alpha males. No, it does not really happen in the wild. They have alpha males in so much as it's just the dad. But large groups of unrelated males, hunting parties, do not coalesce, at least not frequently or not naturally. And there's elect an alpha leader by trial by combat. That doesn't happen. And you're more likely to branch off from your parents and sow your wild oats if you're infected with toxoplasma.
Is that
because you just ate a bad cat?
Is that what's in alpha brain? It's just
it's just the boldness and lack of timidity of toxoplasmosis.
Well, alpha brain is like a Joe Rogan supplement. It's just cat feces.
Is it really? I didn't know that. I didn't know he had a supplement called Alpha Brain.
Yes.
Oh, that's rough.
Well, I don't know if it's his or if he just talks about it.
Or if he just takes it. Man, you can pay me to take something called Alpha Brain. It's just cat litter, full of in some sort of infectious protozoan that's going to make you bolder and more successful with the ladies.
But it's like super dangerous to like unborn, right? Like
yeah, like I said,
pregnant,
it's very dangerous for pregnant women.
Huh.
You don't want a very bold baby.
You don't want an aggressive baby in the womb.
No, yeah, you want your baby to be as timid as possible.
A passive, just chilling.
Mm-hmm. With
placental hammock.
With a villain, the big bad wolf. But yeah, that's all I got. Hope everybody learned something about wolves. You got anything else?
Yeah. No, that's all I got too.
All right. So for you out there in Podcastia, forget about this alpha dog stuff. Branch out and start your own pack. And I don't know, maybe some infected cat droppings wouldn't hurt. Like it doesn't hurt the wolf here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Infected cat droppings definitely
cat
hurt
droppings
when you're trying to start your own pack.